Hi, guys. I'm David with Transparency Fitness Live, and today we're with Lauren Colston, and she is a registered dietitian. That's right. She went to school. She didn't go get no certification. She didn't have to read through a book and then answer questions at the end of each chapter as a test. She actually went and learned how to do this stuff, and I'm really excited to talk about that with you today. But I'd love to get kind of a little bit of background, kind of a little bit of your journey, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
You should be super excited.
Talk about nutrition and stuff.
And stuff?
Yeah, and stuff.
I think we said nutrition and shit, but
nutrition and shit.
Yeah,
That's got to be
that
the
pretty
name.
much sums it up, right?
Right, exactly. Everything you need to know. That's it. But I have wanted to be a dietitian since I learned what it was, which was back in high school. But I grew up in my kitchen cooking as a kid. Didn't come from a super healthy family, sitting around having fancy family dinners or anything like that. It was kid cuisines and donuts for breakfast. And so it really
That's healthy, right, for kids?
Right,
They
yes.
need the sugar to go.
Balanced breakfast, yes, donuts and orange juice, and we're good to go out the door. But anyway, that's kind of how I grew up. It wasn't anything like healthy lifestyle. My parents didn't work out, nothing like that. But the cooking aspect of it was really what was enjoyable for me. So then when I became a volleyball player, played through high school, 2 years in college, I started learning about nutrition and really how it fuels your everyday life, but also as an athlete. So when I was in high school, I learned someone in my hometown was a dietitian. I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. So she talks to people about food and cooking and seemed really awesome. So I started to look into it and I was like, yeah, I think I want to be a dietitian. Didn't realize all the schooling that it took. So I took
Is it
round
4 years?
Four full years. Now they're making it be a master's to even be able to get your internship and sit for your exam. But I took the long way route. To get my 4-year degree, I went to a small school. I wanted to play volleyball, so I did that for 2 years. Then I transferred to UK, finished out there, did my internship through them, and here I am 3 years later.
Okay. And before we kind of dive down that journey, what is a dietitian in your opinion, right? Maybe give us a little bit of what an actual dietitian is, and then kind of your opinion what a dietitian should be. And what maybe people are that are listening, I'm going to go get a dietitian. You're not in that. You may not be in their area, and what should they be looking for, and what kind of values, and what does it mean to you?
I'll tell you what we're not. Everybody thinks we are, which is the food police. We're not the food police.
Really?
Really.
Okay, guys.
Is that
it's safe
news?
to go see a dietitian. They're not the food police. So you're not going to sit there and make me feel really guilty for eating horribly?
Definitely not. You may show up thinking I am, but I can promise you not. No, so what a dietitian is, we're there to guide people through a personalized nutrition experience. So I never treat two of my patients or clients the exact same. I try and learn more about their history with food and nutrition and what that looks like from all aspects, from how they grew up or what their environment looks like, how they get food, where their access comes from, their lifestyle habits, things like that. So when you're looking for a dietitian, look for one, are they in your scope of what you're looking for help with? Are you looking for help with weight management? Do you have food allergies that you need help addressing and eliminating all kinds of foods? And making sure you don't have nutrient deficiencies in the aspect of learning how to do all that. So really look for a dietitian who is looking for what you're trying to do. There's lots of different reasons why you might hire a dietitian or work with a dietitian. So for you, your clients, a lot of them are probably weight loss or weight management, want to build muscle. Does that sound a lot like
this client right here?
Yeah,
I want to build more muscle.
Yeah, sitting across the table, which we kind of already talked about. Your nutrition could be better.
It could definitely be better. I've only gotten lucky because I really do believe you can outwork out a bad. Okay, let's put it this way. I don't have a bad diet. I don't have a great diet though, and I can outwork an okay diet.
You're outrunning your fork.
Pretty much for now.
Yeah.
But I'm also probably not achieving certain goals as fast as I like. I'm achieving goals, but maybe not at the pace that I want.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not as big of a deal because I'm in for the long haul. I realize that I plan to still be doing this 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I'm committed. So I'm also not trying to get super quick results because I know the results are going to come if I just stay consistent. Now, granted, if I did have tightened up the diet a little bit better and ate a little bit cleaner, things would probably move a little bit faster. And my overall energy levels and other things might function better as well, and because of that.
Yeah, which brings me to my last point of somebody who has no clue where to start with nutrition, working with a dietitian or even a nutrition coach can be helpful to take out a lot of those questions. If you're a Googler, get off Google and go see your local registered dietitian, because you can just get down so many rabbit holes with nutrition. So you can cut out a lot of that guessing game or that trial and error by having somebody who knows it a lot better and recognizes what your personal needs are to get you to your goals a lot faster.
Well, and plus, if you get on Google, you can find the diet that you want on there. Like, literally, if you want to find a diet that's eating candy bars, there's someone that probably has an article how candy bars are healthy and you can live off candy bars and put on muscle.
Definitely.
And that's the problem, is that you don't, right? You want to go talk to someone that at least has a base knowledge, if not someone like yourself who actually has a degree in it. You know, I'm precision nutrition level 1, so really I just try to help with habits and accountability is as far as I really go, where you can kind of like, you can actually prescribe people food and specific foods, and I'll do macro breakdowns for some of my clients, but again, I don't tell them within that macro breakdowns you have to have this much chicken and this much broccoli a day, because that's kind of stepping over from, I feel like, the nutrition side into more of a dietitian side, and that's where you step in and help them, because there's also, like you said, food allergies that I may not be aware of. Do you run into that quite a bit?
Of what?
Food allergies, where you have to help people. I guess you teach people about how to look up. Do you teach people like how to look at ingredients and like, so that they have that knowledge of like when they're at the store and they're able to like make good, smart, conscious decisions because of what you've taught them?
Exactly. Yeah. I've worked with clients who are brand new to food allergies. So maybe they're experiencing their very first allergy and their allergist has said, go see a registered dietitian to work through this, figure out what you can and can't have. Some of my clients that I currently have, they've had other allergies in the past that they still have, and have developed new food allergies. So it's working with people on different spectrums there. So somebody brand new to their food allergy, we're diving into how to read ingredient labels, looking for sneaky ways that these food companies can use ingredients and that might have their allergy in it, learning new cooking methods, social settings, being able to go out to eat, all of those obstacles.
I never even thought about that. Yeah. Because like there are times that I have been really good about my diet, and then I go out to eat and I'm just like, well, like, it's easier to not eat the healthy stuff. And also, like, back then, I probably didn't know, like, what the best options were. So being able to – and then you get that social anxiety of, like, your friends, and you're like, actually, there's nothing here I can really eat, and then you feel bad. Or, like, it's hard for me not to drink when I go out to the bar because I don't really drink. And usually I'll have a drink because I just feel like and I'll sip on it for, like, an hour. It's really just a waste of my $5 or $6 because I get nothing out of it. But then I feel like I'm part of the group more, right? And so being able to overcome that and know that most of your friends are not going to care if you're drinking or not. They just want to hang out with you or spend time with you.
Right. And I think that comes on the food allergy aspect, but also somebody tackling new goals. You know, they're trying to lose weight, or they're getting a little bit more dialed in on their nutrition, and their friends and family have no interest in that. And so, they go out to eat and they do whatever, and that's not priority for them. And then you're sitting at the table like, well, I have steamed broccoli on my plate, but those cheese fries, they look hella good.
Yes, they do. What I say, have a cheese fry and then stop it there.
Yeah,
can you ever just have one?
No, heck no. If I'm going to ask for one, I'm going to split the plate with them for sure.
So do you have, like, where percentage-wise, like, people trying to lose weight versus people just trying to have better quality of life? Because I'm sure there's people that are already pretty in like, the right shape, but they just want to have better quality of life. Maybe people that have issues with inflammation, eating certain foods that are low in sodium, and so that doesn't cause as much inflammation, stuff like that. Like, how do you, as far as the different types of people, what are the things that you deal with most, I guess, as a dietitian?
Yeah, definitely the weight management, so weight loss, even weight gain people. And then people are just like, I want to learn more about what my nutrition needs are because I have no clue at all. I mean, that's not something we really grew up learning about.
Right.
Food pyramid. My plate.
Oh man, I totally forgot about that. They really did push that in like high school,
and
like hardcore.
That might be like all some people know, and they're just like, I need a better understanding of what my body needs. Especially, I've noticed a lot of people as they're starting to age and their body is changing, they want to learn more about how to fuel that, just everyday lifestyle things.
Oh yeah. So I have really bad IBS, and as I've gotten older, I realized that the more sugar and greasy food. So if I eat like my body seems to only be able to handle so much of it before it gets really upset or sick at me. So, like, I know that if I'm going to have sugar, I can't have more than, like, half of a candy bar or a candy bar per a couple days, let's say. Like if I ate multiple candy bars or multiple pieces of sugar over a 3 or 4 day period, I will get really sick for like a day. And I've realized, or if I eat like too much greasy stuff, like if I went to McDonald's and got like double cheeseburgers or something for multiple days on end, I'll get really sick. And while I've had the IBS issue for years, I've realized in the last 4 or 5 years, like I'm noticing as I get older, it's getting harder and harder to manage, right? And my body's pretty much forcing me to eat healthier and healthier as I get older.
Yeah, and IBS is one of those tough ones because we're learning about different types now. We have IBS-C, where you experience mostly constipation. Others experience diarrhea.
Really? Okay.
Other people's experience both. So that's one of those individualized food allergies or sensitivities, as what I like to call it, because it's not really a food allergy.
Do you work with people with stuff like stuff like IBS and stuff, Crohn's, I'm guessing as well?
Yep, both of those. IBS, like we know about it and we understand a lot better. Like if you're familiar with like the low FODMAP diet, I'm sure you learned about that in precision nutrition. We've learned more about that over the last couple of decades, but it's still hard to really trigger it down and figure out, okay, what affects you versus me. It's a whole. I started
writing. That's what I did.
Yep.
I would write down, and every time I had an upset stomach, I'd look at what I had in the last 24 hours. And over time, I realized I was like, oh, man. And this was back before I had any time. Like, I would eat whatever I wanted. I just didn't care back in my 20s. And I could eat through like a whole thing of cookies or whatever one night. And then I would feel so horrible the next day. And you would think it would just click. Another thing for a while, like dairy really upset my stomach. So I had to get special types of dairy products that worked better. But again, it was making lists every day.
Yeah,
trying to
star, circle, highlight. That did not work.
Exactly. Do you have clients do stuff similar to that to help identify maybe where those sensitivities are? Because I guess you can go for a food allergy. You can go to the doctors and actually find out what specifically you are allergic to.
Yeah, exactly. I recommend always going to an allergist for those food tests. You know, the ones that you can get like the at-home kits. They're not as accurate as going to see your allergist and getting a true food allergy or sensitivity test. And then using that as a basis. Okay, instead of playing the guessing game and keeping logs for weeks on end, you can go and get that test and get a lot more information. But even then, for some people, they still have to be really careful. If you're eating processed foods like they come in a box, which that's fine. But then you start to, okay, I really need to look closely at these ingredients, these cooking methods if I'm going out to eat, things like that. So yeah, keep that journal, star, circle, highlight when you have those symptoms. That's literally what I tell them.
So what advice do you have for people that hate to cook and that is their big excuse for not eating healthy? It's like, I just don't have time to cook. Because I know you have to hear that one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'll give you that same line right now, and I definitely have the time.
And so we figure out a little bit about why they don't like to cook. For some people, like it's just a matter of getting back to basics. So, okay, let's review some basic cooking methods, like pulling some stuff out of the freezer and opening up a can of food. We could start there. If they're still a no, then I'm like, all right, go to the meal prep company down the road.
Okay. So a lot of times, is it just getting people kind of like just getting someone into the gym and then they're like, oh, okay, I'm good to go. I didn't want to be here, but now that I'm here and I'm doing it, I'm in.
It wasn't so bad.
Right. So do you find that is like a barrier you're able to get over once people get back into the kitchen and they start doing it for like a week or two, then it becomes more natural and a habit for them?
For some people, definitely. I think there's also like cooking and kitchen overwhelm. So I would never want to send a client like, here's 10 recipes and I want you to cook 7 nights a week. No, that'd be like telling.
That's what I've been having all my clients do.
Right?
They're on top of it.
I want you in the gym 7 days a week, every single day. We're going hard, right? So same concept there. So what I would recommend is like starting slow. Just do a couple simple recipes a week, and not everything has to come right out of your produce section at the store. Use those fresh. Okay, that's fine. But also look for those frozen and canned goods too, because they're a lot more convenient. I find it also too. People who don't want to cook tends to be like people who are cooking for one. They're like, I find it really hard because I waste a ton of food.
That makes sense. Apparently they just don't eat as much as me.
Right. Yeah. So people are like, I don't want to waste the food. It's just easier if I go out to eat and I can bring leftovers home for maybe one meal and then go back out to eat for my next meal.
Okay.
Also clean up. But like start slow. Pick out a couple recipes and use those convenience items to your benefit. And you probably will learn that it is not the worst thing ever to cook some meals at home because you're probably going to start to feel a little bit better too.
So what are some good things, I guess, for people on the go that really maybe live on the road for a week, right? And so they do a lot of fast food. That's just kind of like what is available to them. What are some advice you could give those people for things they could be looking at, or just habits that they could change? Like, you know what? You're staying at a hotel. There's a Kroger down the road. Go look at getting this instead of going to like McDonald's that night or something.
For sure. Where I would start was water. You can get that handy dandy reusable water bottle and you can fill that up all the time. So staying hydrated while you're traveling, like that's an easy no-brainer, because when you're staying hydrated, you're probably going to be less likely to have that low energy throughout the day as you're on the road or traveling.
But I don't want to stop and pee all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You know that one's coming.
Oh, yeah. I hear that too. Don't chug that water, but you're going to be less likely to go in that gas station and pick up like sugary snacks or a bunch of junk food to try and pick your energy levels back up. So pack a smart snacks bag, like your beef jerky. Like some of my favorites are like the Chomp sticks. You can get those like Trader Joe's. Kroger, I think, even has them now. Even like apples. I'm not going to say pack your bananas because we all know they bruise and they're brown and they don't taste good anymore.
Yeah, a lot of fruits and vegetables are more difficult. Carrots, baby carrots.
Yeah. Well, even like the peel back fruit, like your lunch box that you would throw in a kid's lunch box. Yeah, those are great on the road. You don't have to refrigerate those. They get a little messy. You don't open them while you're driving, but come on now. Protein shakes, like the ready to drink. You're probably not going to hit your protein if you're eating out at a bunch of fast food. So put those protein shakes in your car.
Yeah. I actually, when I eat fast food, it's usually because I've hit my protein for the day, but I need more calories.
Looking your calories. Yeah, there you go.
Like literally, exactly. That's what I use fast food for. If I need it, or if I'm in a position, I'm just like, I need to get another 1,000 calories today, or I'm gonna lose some muscle. Because I'd much rather have more calories than not enough.
For you, for sure. Yeah.
Specifically for me, I do a lot of yogurt, and then I get that low sugar, high protein milk that's way too expensive. That comes in like that square, like half gallon thing.
Way too expensive.
It is. It's like $5, and I drink it. And
is it have a cow on the front of it? Oh, I love that milk. What is that called?
I can't think the name of it.
I can see it, but I can't.
Yeah. But
no, it's good.
I go through it 2-3 days because I put it in smoothies. So my morning smoothies like probably 1,000 calories, but like 80 grams of protein. It takes me 20 minutes to drink.
And you're like, yeah.
And then I'm full for a while. Yeah.
So if you're going to get your extra calories, where are you going fast food?
Where am I going fast food? It varies, but I guess probably my like favorite is Wendy's breakfast. So
I've never had their breakfast.
Oh, it's so good.
It's like new, right? Newer?
Like within the last year. They started back up again last year, I think. But it's they've got these croissant chicken biscuits, and then I get like two. I add extra bacon, so that I get more protein in. But that's like I can do like 1,200-1,500 calories that way. And then I try to do the smoothie, and then I do lots of the Orcos. Like,
Oikos. Yeah.
For 100 calories, only 5 grams of natural sugar, and then I think they're 15 grams of protein. I'll eat 2 or 3 of those a day, and then I'll do the smoothie, and then I'll do some kind of meat and vegetable at some point in time. So There's a chance that fast food gets eaten 2 or 3 times a week where I just don't hit my calorie count. Or like today, I definitely didn't hit it. Even if I go eat more fat, even if I go have another, I already had one fast food meal today. If I go have another fast food meal today, I probably still won't hit my calories for the day just because I just didn't stop. Like I literally didn't have time. I tried to work out today and I couldn't get into the gym.
Didn't happen for you. With the fast food thing, there's definitely a place for it. It's
for sure.
Just being like a smart consumer. So, you can think about the places you go. It's like smothered, covered. That's the title of it on the menu. It's like smothered, covered chicken. If you're not looking to get extra calories in, I wouldn't go with that one. Look for that grilled option. Chick-fil-A grilled nuggets are where it's at, okay?
Oh, in the wrap's pretty good, too.
The wraps are good. Their salads are phenomenal. But if you're traveling to an area that doesn't have Chick-fil-A, which for me, sometimes when I'm on the road traveling for my other job, like there's no Chick-fil-A in sight. It's literally Wendy's, Taco Bell, McDonald's.
I don't eat Taco Bell because it has been proven to upset my stomach every single time.
You don't eat that on the road if you have an upset stomach.
You don't even need IBS for Taco Bell to attack you.
You don't. So no, that's a no for me. But yeah, looking for those smart menu options, because a lot of these fast food places, they've caught on to the people wanting healthier options.
Look, I mean, Taco Bell's coming out with a chicken sandwich, I think, like in the next month, because everyone's trying to offer a grilled and fried chicken sandwich option. I love Chick-fil-A, and I actually think you could probably get away with eating Chick-fil-A on a daily basis if you went with their healthy options. Here's the problem: you gotta wait an hour to get a freaking wrap. I mean, I just never want to wait that. How is it possible that they are that busy?
Any time of the day.
If they're open,
you're
busy. Waiting minimum 10, 15 minutes.
I know, I don't get it. I've been there at like 2:30 in the afternoon, even like during summertime when there's not like school-age kids coming out of school. Oh, let's go to Chick-fil-A after school. No,
and
like
you
summertime.
see like Cane's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, nobody in the line across the road, but everybody's at Chick-fil-A.
And I'm thinking Nicholasville Road, where there's like Nicholasville Road in Lexington is like one of the worst places
to ever drive.
Fast food. Well, that too. But like there was some survey or something that came out a few years ago about like the stretch of fast food places within a certain radius. Nicholasville Road like ranked way too high on the list. I don't even remember what it's called. I'll have to find it maybe so you can put it in the show notes.
This is the reason that we're so overweight here in this town. We're offering too many fast food options.
Yeah, but we have plenty of bike trails, so you hop on your bike and you drive to Chick-fil-A. I don't know. Yeah, it's super interesting.
At least feel like you burned a few calories if you're going to eat some.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was super interesting about Nicholasville Road because like, if you think about it,
it's
literally you could walk like Jimmy John's, Wendy's,
Subway.
Cane's.
There's everything back to back to back.
It's ridiculous. So yeah.
I never thought about that, but you're right. So for all the people out there that don't want to listen to any of the advice that we're giving tonight and just want to pig out and be unhealthy, come to Lexington, Nicholasville Road, go at it. Eat them calories. Mm-hmm. So you got out of college, starting kind of give me a walkthrough of like starting that career, getting started. I mean, for people out there that maybe are just starting out as a dietitian, like how was that for you? What route did you take? I know that originally you said you worked for someone, and now you work partially for someone, and then the rest of the time for yourself now.
Yeah. So when I was in college, dietetics, our realm kind of has like 3 different avenues that they encourage you to take or like suggest, hey, this is what we're training you for, which is clinical in a hospital setting, so like acute care, outpatient setting, community setting, like your local health department, and then food service. So in a hospital food service, school food service, something like that. And I knew I didn't want to do any of those 3. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I was like, that's my calling. That's what I want to do. I also love the fitness and wellness space. Is
there not like a group of dietitians here in Lexington that like were like, you know, you do these private doctors' offices where they hire nurses and doctors and stuff? Do they not have something like that in Lexington where there's like an office of dietitians that people go and see? Or
there is one. I know I think she's closer to UK's campus, but she maybe has.
So that's really not. That wasn't an option coming out of school, as far as an avenue.
Not
I
really.
just wondered.
Like
I
not
didn't know.
Yeah, not a ton of them have like job openings for like brand new dietitians.
Okay.
So like for me, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to start my own private practice. Didn't think it would happen as soon as it has. I was like, oh yeah, 5 years, 10 years down the road, I'll like float around, figure out whatever, when you graduate college. But I started managing a gym, and that kind of allowed me to create the nutrition space there a lot sooner. So I was able to create those nutrition programs for that gym, get my feet wet with coaching clients right out of school while I studied for my RD exam. And I think just the advice I have for new dietitians or somebody thinking about becoming a dietitian, like get out there and talk to people. You're not going to figure out what their problems are and what they're dealing with if you don't get out there and talk to people.
So did that help being the gym manager? Like, what did that look like?
Yeah, that definitely helped.
But I mean, like, what did that look like transitional wise for you to like get that off the ground? Because that was kind of your thing, right? Even though you're the manager, I'm sure they kind of gave you free reign to like implement this aspect of your degree into the business.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, they knew they wanted to tie nutrition. And before I came there, they had a dietetic student doing some coaching, but didn't have any like solidified programs or specific coaching going on. So I was able to come in and introduce, like, we did some corporate wellness programs. We did some like group nutrition
so you actually
challenges.
Put together some actual programs that you could go into these offices and actually have like something put together for like a larger group of people to like.
Yeah. We did, while I was there, we did 3 virtual corporate programs. So it was 100% virtual. We did have some of them, if they were local businesses, be able to come to the gym.
Okay.
So I kind of had like that platform of, hey, we have the fitness and we have the nutrition, and we tied it together. And
which is extremely important for a lot of people. They need it.
Right. And because there's nothing worse than coming into a workout and you feel terrible and you know you're underfueled, but you don't know what to do next. And so I think we're going to start to see more and more gyms have that nutrition service because they want to better serve their clients on multiple aspects.
I'm seeing gyms offer a lot more, like Body Structure here in Lexington. I mean, they have a PT, they have personal trainers,
They have a dietitian.
they have they do have a dietitian. They've got, and so like you walk into them, and outside of a medical facility, they can kind of take care of your fitness journey for you at whatever level you need to be at. And I think that's smart because people don't want to go to a dietitian and then go to the gym and then go to the PT. If you can go to all three in one place and you like the people there and like over Body, they have great staff over there, and they really seem to have a really good message and care about their clients. So but yeah, I mean that's a very nice benefit.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said. Okay, this is my home gym. I know the people here, and I feel comfortable to talk to them and figure out, the problems that I'm experiencing, what they are, and how to get them fixed.
Right.
And they're all here in this one building instead of like what you said, hopping to this doctor. Oh, they referred me to that doctor. It's this wellness space, and it's a safe space for people to get that help that they want for a healthy lifestyle.
So is that something you might be interested in doing down the line for yourself and getting off the ground at some point in time, teaming up with some people and doing something like that?
Definitely. I'm definitely already kind of doing some of that, working with different trainers here in Lexington under the same roof. I don't know if that's my vision right now, because I love the Lexington community in itself, that we have people doing all different types of fitness, working with different clientele, and then we can all come together and kind of learn and grow from each other.
It's
and
the podcast.
Yeah,
it's mostly been all people from Lexington, but
awesome.
it has been amazing as a new personal trainer to get to meet all these different people. I mean, I didn't even know who you were like 3 months ago, and then like someone listened to my podcast. Carrie was like, she's like, you have to have Lauren on. She's awesome. And I'm like, all right. And I went and looked you up. I was like, she looks like she's got I like her Instagram. She seems to be on top of stuff. Like, let's get this girl on here and talk to her about food and diet.
And the Lexington community is cool in itself, because there's a lot of people who have come from outside in and stayed in Lexington and have poured into this community. And I think you'll also find that everybody somehow knows somebody.
They really do.
It's wild.
It's a tiny little town.
Yeah. And so when the gym that I worked for previously decided to close during COVID, I met so many people, but realized they were all like interconnected. I'm like, this is.
So what was that like for you last year? I want to hear about last year.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was rough. I mean, I wasn't the business owner, but I took care of somebody else's baby, essentially. I mean, when you grow a business from the ground up, basically he grew it from the trunk of his car. And then because of COVID, we had to close down. I mean, I know a lot of gyms and small businesses experience this. Like, you kind of get in this, like, what now? Like, we have to make the move because we don't know where COVID's going to be in 6 months. And
my highly intelligent butt decided to start a new gym.
Right. Yeah. Great idea.
During
hey,
COVID.
But great things are started in the storm.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, it was tough. I mean, and it's the community that sucks even worse, that splits up and spreads. But
because then you lose those people.
Yeah.
Or like there's a gym I used to go to called Icon Fitness.
Yeah.
Well,
I went there one time.
Yeah. But do you remember when they had their Orange Theory style like workout classes?
Mm-hmm.
So I loved everybody over there. That's a lot of my connections within the fitness world are from that. But then when they closed down, like half those people I don't even talk to anymore. Like they were like family to me at one point in time, because I'd see them 4 or 5 times a week.
Especially, when you show up to the same class time every day or multiple days a week, like those people do become your friends and family. They sometimes know more about you and your life than what your actual family does.
I was making a joke with it's not only a joke, but the truth. I met a guy at the YMCA right before COVID happened in the beginning of 2020, in January. And he always came into the sauna with me, and he's always swimming, and I was an all-state swimmer, and I said, hey, if you ever need some help with swimming, like, I'll help you out. Well, that guy took me up on the offer. He's like, well, what's your phone number? And like, I started teaching them how to do flip turns and swim, and then we started working out, and we get halfway into the pandemic, we built a little gym at my buddy's house, and he's helping, and he's working out with me, and I realized one day, I was like, do you realize I spend like an average of 15 to 20 hours a week with you in the gym? Because we work out 6-7 days a week, because we had nothing to do. I spend more time with you than your family gets to spend with you.
Yeah.
We might need to make some changes. But it just like, and now he's like, I'm very close with his family and stuff, because we were like, if we weren't working out together, then I was with my family or he was with his family. But,
right. I mean, it really is cool how it brings people together. Like fitness and wellness spaces do bring people together on different aspects that maybe like.
How positive do you feel most times when you're doing fitness related stuff? You just feel amazing.
Yeah, you feel good, and you're surrounded by people who are also there to feel good.
Right, so it's just a bunch of positivity bouncing off positivity, and at least I have found that there's very few negative aspects that I've run into in fitness over the years, or specific people within fitness.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're having a bad day.
Unless your name's V-Shred. That's right, I'm calling you out. Do you know who V-Shred is?
Who is that?
He is a guy that pretty much 3 marketers put a really pretty looking dude that was in good shape and made this whole company. It's like a $100 million company. And the guy literally has been caught like teaching fitness stuff while watching other major fitness people. So he's literally like watching their YouTube video and then showing them how to do stuff because he has no idea.
God.
And then he tried to make up some kettlebell workouts, and like these major like bodybuilders and other people that are well known within the kettlebell like started like breaking it down and seeing like how dangerous his made up kettlebell workouts were for like different parts of the body. But anyways, but they built
Kids
this whole
do that at home.
they built this whole $100 million marketing thing around this good looking dude, and the guy has absolutely no understanding of like fitness at all, but he's selling it to you like he's been training, like he talks about training all these like Hollywood people and like
totally made up.
Wow. Doesn't know anything about fitness. Like he's even been caught saying word for word, like, you know who Athlete X is, right?
No.
You got to get on YouTube and check out people.
I get down these YouTube rabbit holes, and that's what it's like TikTok. I can't get.
I have TikTok on my phone right now. It's not even logged in though because I will literally like I won't get any work done. I will literally like, oh, right, I'm supposed to be coaching you. So these are what I need you to do. I'm gonna be on my TikTok. Have fun with the workout.
I might even put you on my TikTok, but
right,
don't
yeah,
mind me.
but yeah, I might put you on there, but yeah, don't expect me to coach you today. I got TikTok things, but anyways, so they built this whole company around a guy that has absolutely no understanding. And then Athlete X is a guy, I got into him because he has some amazing core workouts, some of the best that I've ever done. Like I've only been able to complete one of his core workouts without stopping, and I've tried for months they're pretty impressive. But he's a physical therapist that is he really comes across more as he's more of a personal trainer, but he has a physical therapy degree, and so he ties that in together and does a bunch of stuff on like YouTube, teaching people. He breaks it down mechanically so that people like myself or people that don't have any knowledge base can try to understand like what he's trying to teach. As far as he's big on knees and stuff like that. Nice. So anyways, but yes, cool. So Athlete X dude, or not Athlete X, but the V-Shred guy has been caught saying word for word, like giving out the same information at the Athlete X, like stealing it word for word, and then like making a video.
Wow.
But it works. I mean,
it's still working.
Yeah,
I've got to look this up.
They've gone from like a $10 million a year company to over $100 million a year. They have all kinds of products and stuff and supplements that they say work, but like apparently it's been tested and their supplements are pretty bad too. They're just the cheapest thing they could buy on the market.
Wow.
But it's crazy because something like that exists, right? That like we allow, but at the same time, a personal trainer doesn't have to have a certificate, or doesn't have to have a certificate. I could go personal train without. I can go get insurance and personal train without really any
knowing
knowledge.
Anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All I have to do is convince you that I do.
Right. Yeah. Look at my muscles and personal.
Like I got here. Granted, it was a ton of anabolic steroids, but we don't have to mention that's how these muscles got. No.
Right. Instagram influencers, essentially. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those were Photoshop pictures of me. This is actually what I look like, 400 pounds.
Yeah, but here we are. We're going to train. You're going to give me your money. Yeah. Gosh, that's wild. And, yeah, the YouTube, the TikTok tunnel or rabbit hole, I just can't do it because then I'll find stuff like that, and I'll get that stuck in my brain. I'm like, I cannot believe
right, it gets you. It makes me. Yeah, I thought the guy was legit at first, right?
Yeah.
And then I was watching a video, and I was like, man. Man, we really need to watch this video of him talking about healthy snacks. Okay, so he's talking about.
Am I gonna cringe?
Oh my god, it's so hilarious because he's like he gets that Quaker Oats like oatmeal that has like the different types like the brown sugar, the multi-packs, whatever in it. And he's like, so these are really good snacks. As you can see, this is oatmeal. And if you notice, it has 50% less sugar. Like seriously. And then he talks about the popcorn bags and like how it only has like 80 calories for the whole bag. And I'm like, man.
What?
I'm like, do you realize that that's per serving?
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Can people comment on the videos? Like, are they like...
There's been a bunch of professional like bodybuilders and people that have literally made videos explaining how bad that video is and breaking it down.
Wow.
But yeah, like the guy he's like making up stuff. I mean,
and
yeah.
like so confidently.
Well, like his big spiel is like you don't have to work out or you don't have to do cardio to get in shape. Like he pretty much is selling everybody the one thing that everybody wants. They want to hear that they don't have to do any effort and they can have a 6-pack and look massive like Thor. Yeah. You know, like they can look like Chris Hemsworth and they don't have to do any work. And that's what he's selling them to him. You can eat whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, and if you do what I say, then like you're gonna get in shape.
That is like one of the rules I tell people. I'm like, if it sounds too good to be true, it is.
It is. 100%.
Do not fall for that. That sucks. You know, just when I think we're like getting somewhere, like people are not going to put shit like that.
Well, how
there.
important is it for you to set like these precedents with different clients so that they understand that, you know, this is not going to happen in a month? Like, like setting those things. Like I have clients and they know that where they want to be at, we're 6 months to a year out from that right now.
And the trouble with nutrition is we have a lot of people who have a history of chronic dieting. So they jump from one diet to the next. This 30-day plan.
Let's talk about that. I want to talk about that right now because
this will be a never-ending issue as long as marketing continues to make us look like we're going to have those 6-pack abs and 10 pounds down in 6 weeks.
Half the diets are like 21 days, 30 days, 20 like 15 days, like.
And you know that's like just a starting point for starting and establishing healthy habits.
I would do a diet like that only because if I wanted to just like for me to cut up so that my like to knock off like 2 or 3 more % body fat real quick in a couple weeks so that I could look good for a specific reason, right?
Right.
But that's not something that would be substantial. Like I couldn't just.
You wouldn't expect to keep those results.
Right. I might keep them for a little bit, but then I'm just gonna go back to where I'm at in a couple more months if I don't. And a lot of those diets are not sustainable. Like the whole the keto diet. I only know a handful of people, and the guy that did electrical work in here, he's been on the keto diet pretty much strictly for like 2 years now, and he's been able to stick to it in his body, and it works for him. Mm-hmm. However, it's not that healthy in most aspects to do that on a long basis time. Right. And what's the use of getting into a diet if you're only going to do it for 30 days?
Right.
And
that's the thing. Like, okay, so let's go back to the people who have a history of chronic dieting. So coming to somebody who teaches and promotes sustainable nutrition, sustainable healthy lifestyle habits. Okay, we have to jump 500 obstacles or hurdles for you to get out of the mindset of this is not going to happen with results in 8 weeks, in 12 weeks, in, major gaps. Okay, you're not going to lose 20 pounds in 2 months. Not happening in a sustainable way.
They're not working out with me.
That maybe you have
Granted,
the secret.
They're going to be fluctuating between the ER and losing that weight, but we'll get them there.
We'll get them there.
Or we'll get them to the ER, one of the two.
Right. With a bunch of unhealthy habits down the road. So, retraining people's mindset around food and nutrition is like one part of that in that counseling experience with a dietitian.
So how do you, what are some ways that you attack that? Because I know you have to run into that where people are going to give you some pushback. And I'm sure early on you've learned different techniques that work better, but how do you help people look at realize that the chronic dieting is not healthy for them and is not in the long term helping them whatsoever, and probably even in the short term not really giving them many results for what they're putting into it, and getting them to buy into a more sustainable diet?
Yeah. So I start off having a conversation. I tell them when they come into my office, this is a conversation about nutrition. I'm not going to pull up questions off to you and you're going to have to give me,
right,
fancy answers. Let's have a conversation about what did you like about that diet program that you keep referring to me about.
Okay.
Okay, you liked the structure of it. You liked maybe the results. Very rarely do people say I like the results I got from that program.
There's certain foods they like in it, though. They're like, I really like that I was able to eat this or something within this diet.
Very rarely.
Okay.
Because most of the diets out there are around restriction. They cut out this food group, or they cut out don't eat this for X amount of days, or cut out alcohol. So that is where the dieting, that's right. The center of it. Cut this out. Don't do this. Don't do that. Okay, well, tell me what you did like about that program, and I'll have a conversation with you about that. Let's figure out how to do that again. And then we talk about, okay, how long ago was that, and where are you now? How did it serve you long term?
So the thing that they talked a lot about this in the precision nutrition, setting up different goals, like a 1 week goal, like a 4-week goal,
Mm-hmm.
a 6-month, like, do you do that? Do you find that helps so that you're able to like see that goal that we set a month ago, see the results to help people stay motivated and continue?
For sure.
That has to be difficult for some people, is even for you to figure out a way, because every client's got to be different in the aspect of like, how do I find their how do I get around their barrier and get them to like trust me and then follow what they're paying me for. And like achieve the goal that they want.
Understanding their expectations is always something I want to respect. But if your expectations are unrealistic,
does that happen often?
Sometimes.
Or most people pretty realistic?
Most people, by the time that they've made it to my office, we've already had a conversation.
Okay.
So that does help. But two, by the time they've done their research and learned about meeting with a dietitian, they've come to the conclusion of, okay, my expectations previously have been a little high, or I'm not even sure what my expectations are now. I just need to figure something out. So maybe they're at a loss. Then we look at those, okay, 3 months from now, what are we looking for? Where do we want to be? And then we look at that roadmap to get to those 3 months. If we haven't reached it in 3 months, then, okay, why are we not
identify the issue and then try to
same thing like what you were talking about. Yeah. So figuring out that roadmap and making it small steps, right? Because way too many times, okay, Monday is day 1 of my diet. Don't do that. Don't do that anymore. Don't save it for Monday.
I'm a Monday guy or a Sunday guy. I'm a guy, like, I pick a date and I do it. Right. But I do agree with you in the baby steps.
Yeah.
What little I've helped a few of my clients out with nutrition. Most of them, we talk about it. We do a food journal. We're aware of it. But unless they really feel like they need help and we're not achieving fitness goals within here, then we'll dive in a little bit deeper. But one of my clients, his thing was juice. Oh my gosh. Like, he brought me the 2-week thing from his food journal, and it was like 30, 40 ounces of juice a day.
Oh, man.
I was like, oh my God, man.
My stomach will be tore up.
Yeah, he loved juice. I mean, the greatest guy ever. He was fantastic to coach. But so I was like, all right. So I was like, this week, like, we're kind of down to like 2 glasses of juice a day. And then we got him down to where I think I think he was doing like maybe 3 juices a week. But he started losing weight.
That's awesome.
They even had a COVID scare where they couldn't see me for almost 3 weeks. And so and they didn't even stick to their workout plan as thoroughly as they should have. And he still came back in because he had somewhat stuck to, like, he'd already started to make those changes in his brain, like habit-wise, where he was like, oh, I'm just not going to have juice because I haven't had it now for the last couple months, right? And it stuck with him. And so then he came in with me after 3 weeks. We did a workout and we went in and weighed, and he had actually somehow still lost weight during the 3 weeks where he hadn't really been pushing that hard. But I think that he had stuck to certain food habits that he'd forgotten that he'd already changed.
For sure. That's awesome. And I think that example right there just goes to show those small things that we do on an everyday basis truly do add up. A lot of the times we're looking like, okay, what's my results by the end of this week? How quickly can I get to whatever it is at now? I mean, that's our culture, right? Like, I want it now. But then if we look back.
Why would I want it later?
Right.
When I can have it now.
Think smartphones and internet and Google. But, if we, a month from now, look back to September 1st, we get to October, what did you achieve? That's where we have to celebrate. That's the mindset that we've got to.
A couple great podcasts. This being one of 2 for the month that are going to be amazing. That's what I'm going to achieve.
That's awesome. And so it's just like we forget to celebrate those things, and then we get hung up on all the things that we didn't achieve or we don't think we did very well, and then we get in that negative headspace and that mindset, and that holds us back from like achieving our goals that we've set for 3 months down the road, 6 months.
Now, do you find as a dietitian that a large part of your job is just accountability? Like that something as small as those few texts that you send out throughout the week to be like, how are we doing with food, or how are we doing with what we talked about earlier on in the week, being extremely valuable to helping people stay, I guess, on track, right?
Yeah. I have a handful of clients right now who are literally like, they've been seeing me for a while. They know what they need to do. We have set the clear roadmap. They have a very clear understanding of their nutrition needs. And they're like, no, I need the support and accountability. Yeah. So I need your weekly emails or your biweekly to
But if that's all it takes, then it's not,
right.
It's not asking a lot.
No, it's really not. And I think that's part of why I love the wellness space as well. So outside of just nutrition, we have that support, we have that community to hold us to what we said we wanted to achieve and do. So I love that accountability and support part of my job.
I find telling people about my goals. Now there are two trains of thought here. That not telling people about your goals, you'll achieve them easier. I find that telling, at least for me, if I tell somebody about a goal, it's almost like I'm making myself do it, because now that person in my head is like they're gonna look at me like, well, David said he was gonna do it and he didn't do it.
They're like,
but if
how's
I
that
think
going
that
at
you
your
think
next dinner party? How's that going?
Yeah, right.
Oh, wait, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
I don't know. I never told you anything about no goal. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people don't thrive well in that, like telling people and getting support and accountability, but I feel like it's like a small group of people. Majority of us need that.
Yeah. Well, no, 100%. So what are some mistakes that you've made that you wish that you hadn't run into or you overcome, or just things that you've learned from in that aspect? Because I know I made some mistakes. I won't tell anybody about them, but I'll make you tell them about your mistakes.
Great. Yeah. It's important for like patient-client relationship to be able to work together and communicate really well. If you are not comfortable telling me what your obstacles are when we come in here into my office, I can't help you. And so definitely some of the mistakes I've made in the past is taking somebody on as a client where we did not mesh very well, and they became frustrated because they're like, well, this is what I wanted to achieve, and these were my expectations. Well, I told you that wasn't the case, but obviously when we come in here, we're not communicating well.
Right.
So I have had to fire a client before, but don't worry. If you
so
are
being more aware of the client before you take them on a client, knowing that that's going to be a good fit.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not going to work with somebody who I don't think we're a good fit. I've referred people on to other dietitians, other coaches, other personal trainers that I think would be a better fit, and I think that's a professional and a respectful thing to do. We're all different. We're all human, and if I truly believe that I know somebody else who is going to help you meet your needs better because I think you would vibe well, yeah, I'm going to send them to you.
Oh, yeah, I do the same thing. I have a female friend of mine, and we've had our pass together, and she wanted to pay me to do personal training. I was like, we've kind of already had this pass, and I don't know how professional this would be. And I'm like, I have this female personal trainer that I think you would be super comfortable with, and she's exactly what I actually think she might be a better fit for you than me, because she's going to be able to push you in a way that I feel like I may not be able to due to our past. And so, I had no problem doing that, because I knew for her, it worked. Actually, it was great for the personal trainer because she got a new client, and then
exactly.
But yeah, I totally have no problem supporting my fellow personal trainers, dietitians,
for sure,
what have you, especially if I can't help out the person, because at the end of the day, I'm here to help people.
Right. And I think that's why we all got into this space.
At least most of us.
Except for that person, whatever his name was.
Oh, V-Shred, right. Yes. You need to look into V-Shred.
I will look into V-Shred.
You can go you gotta look up his snacks video. They're the best snacks ever.
I can, my eyes are going to roll into the back of my head.
They are.
In annoyance.
Yeah. You're going to get caught down a rabbit hole watching a bunch of his videos, just critiquing him. Because anytime one of his videos pops up, I am looking for all the mistakes, like in all of his form.
Yikes. Ugh.
So, but yeah. So you've been doing this, 3-4 years now, right?
Yeah. So I graduated 3 years ago, over 3 years ago.
Do you do any personal training still?
What is it?
Do you still do some personal training, or is it more focused on the diets, on the food side of things?
Yeah, more focused on running my private practice, and then the other job I had mentioned, I work part-time as a consulting dietitian in long-term care. So that was a job that I took after I stopped managing the gym. So I do that part-time and private practice, and I just don't have time to jump back into training right now. Definitely something I want to do, because I love teaching group fitness. Like, that was always so much fun, but just don't have it in my timeline right now.
Group fitness is the best,
It is.
really.
It's
so much fun. Plus, everyone loves you, or they hate you, or they love you, but they may hate you for they might hate you for the hour that you're making them do stuff they don't want to do.
Yeah, they're giving you mean looks during the class. It's fine. They'll be fine about 10 minutes after we're done.
Right. Well, and the reason I was asking if you still personal trained was for the simple fact that, did you find a correlation between personal training someone and being their dietitian, if that worked better than just being that one-on-one dietitian, or having a separate personal trainer and a dietitian maybe was beneficial for that individual?
So I only ever did group fitness, so never one-on-one
Okay.
personal training. However, I think there is benefit to having a separate trainer and a separate nutrition coach or dietitian
Because they're
at
not
times.
so close to the. Okay.
And I was just telling this with one of the other trainers that I work with and collaborate with. You as their trainer see them way more than I do as their dietitian.
Yeah. How often? Let me get close to the mic here, and I'm not talking like way back in my chair. How often do you see like your people? Is it like a once a month thing or once a week or?
Some clients every 2 weeks, especially my newer clients who need a little bit more support, and we need to go through a lot more education, nutrition-wise, and attention.
So a lot more early on because there's a lot of teaching that goes on.
Yeah,
Okay.
typically, not everybody.
Right.
Most of my follow-ups are anywhere 3 to 4 weeks, though.
Yeah, if you were helping me out, I'd be like, I know things, okay?
Yeah.
So whatever.
I don't need to see
we
you
can
every 2
skip.
weeks.
We can skip the pre-K teaching stuff.
Yeah.
I've read a book or two. I've passed a few tests.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't need to see you every 2 weeks. I want to make the most of our time in the office. So if I think somebody's going to be fine 3 to 4 weeks,
Okay.
they know where to find me if they need me before then. But yeah, most of my clients. So yeah, their trainer sees them potentially 2-3 times a week,
Yeah.
maybe more.
Minimum
depending,
once.
Right.
Of course.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Right.
Unless you're like.
Well, I got a
doing-
couple online clients.
Well,
so a couple of them that live here in Lexington, I'll do a workout with them. But a lot of times, they don't need me. Again,
Yeah.
it goes back to the client that you're talking about that don't really need you. Like, I don't know why they keep paying for me. And if you're out there, don't stop because I need that money.
Yeah.
But
Don't
they're
take
very
that one with it.
capable of like they're two of my clients are, I would say, in as good if not better shape than me in some aspects. But me making maybe it's because they don't want to make their own workout program. Like I set them on these 12-week programs so that like we have year-long goals where it's kind of like what do we want to achieve over the next year, similar to your goal setup. And so I guess it helps to where every 12 weeks, that we sit down, we talk, and we build a whole new program that's based on continuing on succeeding in those goals. And so like one of my clients, his big thing is stability. And so we do a ton of dumbbell stuff. And then he started adding a BOSU ball to the dumbbell workouts. And I'm like, okay, we're going from like stability to like craziness. And I'm going to get a call that you can't see me for a month because you've broken something.
Right.
But anyway, so we built a lot of his programs around stability based on what he needs. So
that's awesome. I think some people just really thrive in not having to think about it.
100%.
Like, okay, that's what I need in order to be successful. I have a whole work life going on. I have kids at home. My spouse is really busy, and whatever that looks like.
So what are your thoughts on the meal prepping then? The meal prep companies, right? What are some things, one, that people need to be looking for in a company? Because I feel like there's so many companies based around nutrition. I can't imagine that they're all actually being honest with us and putting the ingredients or like it being everything they're trying to sell us on.
Yeah. I mean, that's tough, especially with the ones that you can order from online. If you have somebody who's local, I would recommend them first, because if you can visit their facility or you can meet the owners, that says a lot about the business in itself.
I mean, I do Jacked Nutrition. Have you done much Jacked Nutrition?
Yeah. I've tried their meals, Lean Feast. I love Jacked Nutrition and Lean Feast both.
I haven't tried Lean Feast yet.
And they both are honest people and built on good values. That's the money I would give my money to give me good nutrition and good food. But also like the price and what it tastes like. If you're not actually going to eat it, like you're not going to want to put a bunch of money in. I'm thinking about like the Blue Apron and kits like that. I personally haven't had a great experience with some of those meals. Like,
Crush, you did the Hello Fresh for a while, didn't you? You gonna jump on here? Can we talk to you for a second about Hello Fresh? Golly, man, you technicians. He's over there playing on his phone, not doing his job.
I mean,
Yeah, you should probably turn your volume up on your mic.
I mean, yeah, if you want social media pictures, maybe he does it. I don't know.
You did the Hello Fresh for a while, didn't you? Are you guys still doing it?
So not anymore. We did for a little bit. We tried Green Chef. We tried Hello Fresh, and then my girlfriend's sister has tried Freshly.
I did Freshly once.
She stuck with Freshly for a while. She's still doing it.
okay.
We stopped after Hello Fresh because we, I guess, weren't as comfortable with their approach. They kind of did like the full dinner meal kit, whereas Green Chef was like the pre-made dinner kits with organic ingredients.
Trying to charge me money and make me cook? Are you crazy?
Or wait, which one was that? That wasn't Green Chef. Green Chef did it more portion sized. So they sent all the ingredients, but it was like portion sized out. It was a lot better. What was the one that sent them prepackaged? That's the one that I think. I don't know if it's called Green Plate or.
Well, I just know that you had tried them out, and I was just wondering what your thoughts were. So one of them was where you had to actually put the ingredients together and cook the food, right?
Yeah.
Which I could see being beneficial in the aspect of like giving you and the girlfriend something to do like together at night. But I like the ones where you throw it in the air fryer or the microwave for 3 minutes and then I eat it and move on with my life.
Yeah, you peel back and ready to go.
That's where Jack. Did you know Jack Nutrition's containers, you can put them in the oven? The
No.
plastic, yeah, they can be put in the oven. I tested
Really?
it, yeah.
Okay.
So if you ever get their food, like certain things that they have
Or better,
are
like
so much better if you
yeah.
throw it in the oven or the air fryer. And yes, I'm too lazy to put it on a plate and put it on the oven.
yeah.
So therefore, if it can't stay in the tray that they sent me the food in, I'm not interested in it.
You might pass it off to somebody else. Yeah, I totally get that. So for like people who are looking for those meals, looking at something like that, okay, am I going to actually eat it? And
Yeah.
however I'm going to prep it, like those boxes, am I going to put all these ingredients together to make up this big fancy meal that seems fancy?
I did it.
You did it.
I did it for
How'd it
like
go? You're not doing it anymore.
no, I spent all that money. I did it once when I ordered it, and then I was like, well, I spent like $100 on like these 8 meals or whatever. Like I am committed to cooking them because
You
'cause
signed
I
up
spent
for
the
that
money.
offer that you got. Yeah.
I'm
Well-
gonna get my money's worth.
Well, to jump in and then I'm gonna cut my mic off. I will say that I think Green Chef was my favorite because I know earlier you guys were talking about like people who try to cook for themselves and they just get overwhelmed with making too much food. Green Chef seemed to have a good solution for that, where they literally were counting out like, okay, are you ordering for 1, for 2, and they would only send you enough to cook that portion.
Nice.
And so then you weren't cooking for an hour or for 45 minutes. You were cooking for like 10, 15 minutes tops.
Nice.
And then it was just preparing the plate. That's probably the one that was my favorite. And I also thought the quality of food that they were sourcing was also a little bit better than the HelloFresh.
That is true. That's the other thing I like
Yeah.
about Jack. I know they source some pretty high quality. Well, they claim. I guess there's really no way to prove, but I have no reason to think that they would lie about their claims, of course.
Right.
But they're pretty prideful about the way they source their groceries.
For sure. Lean Feast I also know supports some local businesses.
Yeah, I don't
and
know much
butchers
about
as well.
Lean Feast, to be honest.
So they are like a franchise. You buy into it.
Are they over
Um,
behind Myers? Is that okay? So yeah, I know of them. I've just never been over there.
Yeah, I have had a great experience, just like with Jack Nutrition.
I'm afraid that like Jack Nutrition will put a hit out on me if I go try another food company because I'm mostly get their food. But if you do have a local food place like Jack Nutrition that does it, a lot of them will they'll let you walk in. Like Lean Feast, you can walk in and just buy a meal. Like I could just be hungry for lunch and just walk in and buy one of their meals, right?
Exactly.
Jack's you can't. But also usually the local ones, especially if you're doing a pickup, they may not have a minimum order. So you can order like 1 or 2 meals and just try it out to see if you like the ingredients. Jack
Right.
Nutrition, I don't know if Lean Feast does it, but they change their meals every single week. So
That's a big difference. So like Jack, they're doing more specialized recipes
so awesome,
and like
yeah.
really tasty different stuff, mixing it up on their menus,
they
getting
had buffalo
creative.
macaroni and cheese a couple weeks back.
Ooh,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
so good.
See, like you're not gonna likely get that at Lean Feast.
Right.
Lean Feast is, I like to describe it as like the subway line where you're going down and you choose your protein, your starch, your non-starchy
Oh.
veggies, and then you can add.
So
some
it's just
stuff
broken
on.
down in macros almost.
Exactly.
Okay, I need to go in there.
Which is really helpful for people who are learning about building a balanced plate or already know how to do it, but they like the convenience option.
Okay. Well, and I also believe, I've had clients ask me like, well, I don't know what to eat healthy-wise. And I look at them and go, you know what to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you are very well. Like, there's so many people that act like you know what you need to be eating. You don't want to eat it.
Right.
You want me to tell you to eat it.
Yeah. Or they're picky eaters. Where my picky eaters at? I know y'all are out there.
That's one. I'm not a very picky eater. So, like,
I could eat anything but
yeah.
olives. Do not come at me
Really?
with olives. Ugh.
Olives.
If they're cooked on a pizza, I can do it, but I've tried it like over, the 11
I will literally
times or
just
whatever.
pop olives into my
Ugh.
mouth. They're so good. Black olives,
No.
green olives, clamato olives.
Kalamata?
Kalamata olives, yeah, those olives, those are good. They got the little red thing inside. No, I don't really like chili. I'm not. I'll eat it though. There isn't much I won't eat, but there are things that I prefer not to eat.
Chili the soup.
Huh?
Like you don't like chili the soup?
Yeah, I guess. Is it a soup?
Yeah.
I guess you could call it a soup.
It's a stew. It's a
Yeah,
soup.
stew, more stewish. My mom made the worst chili
That's-
growing up,
see,
and it
that's a
ruined
problem.
chili for me. She put kidney beans in it. Oh,
Oh, see, that's
I don't.
good.
I don't
That's
mind
what I
it.
put mine.
They're very healthy. We
Mhm.
could talk beans.
Fiber.
You guys could just live. Well, you couldn't probably live off beans, but you should see all the beans I have in the house. I used to literally just buy cans of beans, and then drop get a 1 cup, and then drop the beans in the cup, and then eat the whole cup, or just suck it down. Because
gross, but you're getting what you need,
protein,
sort of.
you're
and
getting
carbs.
some carbs in there, and then the one thing that I think a lot of people don't think about, potassium.
For
a lot of
sure,
people don't get enough
yes.
potassium.
No,
And
definitely not.
one of the major sources of potassium for people is bananas. You eat too many bananas, that's too much sugar, right? The bananas are super sugary. So I was doing beans to get more potassium in my body. And it's really quite a bit of protein,
Yes.
depending on what type of beans. But I got tired of eating beans.
Yeah. And if you have GI issues and all that.
They didn't mess with me.
Really?
No, I don't
Okay.
remember the beans giving me a lot of issues with the GI, but I don't know.
Well, we could go off on a whole other
Yeah,
podcast about fiber
yeah.
and stuff. Fiber and shit.
Fiber and shit. All right, guys, for our next podcast with Lauren, fiber and shit. A prequel or a sequel to food and shit. Or
Yeah,
what? Nutrition and
nutrition
nutrition and shit.
Yeah. It's a whole series.
The Lauren and Transparency Fitness podcast.
Oh, Lord.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so there you guys go about the meal preps. I mean, what else are we gonna talk about here? There's so much stuff. Like
Nutrition
what
is a whole rabbit hole in itself. Oh, my gosh.
what road do we go down next?
Gosh, you
Can I
know.
interject real fast?
You can.
Okay, I just want to say, Lauren, chili is a chowder. I will not.
Oh,
This-
okay. So this is what Keenan does. He has lots of very interesting information.
I didn't know we had like a researcher back there fact checking
That's
me.
what
back
he's
there.
supposed to be doing. He's doing his job for once.
That's hilarious.
Well, I know this from my heart. I don't need to look this up. You have your soups, they're more liquidy. You have your stews, they have more meaty. But then you
You
have
call
your
yourself a nutritionist.
Excuse me.
but then you have your chowders, which are it's like a saucy meal. If that
Okay.
makes
Chowder
True.
makes more sense to me
True.
than a soup or a stew.
I agree. Because like I'm thinking like clam chowder too. It's like the same consistency. So you're
we,
right.
We
You're
were
right.
talking about, or he was talking about, but we were talking about bouldering or something. And I was like, I don't even know what bouldering is. And like Keenan's over there like giving us like the history of bouldering on our last podcast.
So now we need the history on chowder too.
Yeah,
Next
you're gonna
time
have to.
on
You have to
fiber.
get
Fiber shit.
that chowder and shit.
There
I
you go.
can't do that. I can't.
Oh my gosh. But yes. So, guys, chili is a chowder.
Who knew?
Apparently,
Apparently I
apparently, the person that went to college to learn about food didn't know this.
That wasn't in our vocab list, I guess.
They didn't have a test on like, if you were given a bowl of chili, is it a chowder?
You know,
stew
we
or
had
a
like
soup?
multiple food labs. I'm surprised that wasn't a question at some point. Like,
What kind of food labs did you have?
So like we did very basic stuff. So there was one lab where we had to try. He's like 9. He's like, yeah, the dairy lab where you left there not hungry at all. Like you tried all kinds of cheeses, all kinds of milk. It was like, can we get something else? But we were keeping it very basic.
What was the hardest part about college, about school for becoming a dietitian? Like, what was the most challenging part for you?
Oh, definitely like the general chemistry before we got to the nutrition stuff. I hated that. Ugh, hated that.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you agree?
Did you guys do a little biology stuff too?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Not as bad as the
We had to
chemistry.
do that
but-
with the precision nutrition, like, and I was just like, I was so lost. I
Yeah.
was like, I remember learning this in high school, but at the same time, like, I don't remember this.
the general chemistry is so dry, but like the
Yeah.
nutritional biochem is interesting.
Oh, I loved nutritional biochem. Probably
Yeah.
my favorite chemistry class. At one point, I thought I was going to go pre-pharmacy, so I went through both organics.
Oh, ugh.
That wasn't fun. But nutritional biochemistry, epigenetics is still a word that floats in my brain at all times,
Yep.
and we probably shouldn't go into a conversation on what that means, because that would be like 4 days at least.
Right.
But yeah, that was a great class.
Yeah, that was good. But yeah, the Gen Chem, and I can't believe you went through both organics just to decide. No.
Yeah, while I was swimming, that was a mistake.
Oh man. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that I'm just a nutritionist, and I'll rely on people like you when I need those people, and I'll be like, hey, I got someone for you.
You're right. Yeah.
They're out of my depth.
Precision Nutrition, I think they have a fabulous program though. They have really good sound nutrition that they're putting out, whereas other certifications
They have a whole book just on coaching.
Right.
Like your first
right.
book, like the first of 3 books, I think is literally, or maybe it's the second book. It's just coaching. It's just teaching you like how to talk to people and how to get them to like look at food in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Which that's a whole aspect of it. So I
Oh,
love that
for
they've
sure.
taken the things that are really valuable instead of just like, here's a nutrition book
Right.
and like have fun being a coach. That's not what it is. So yeah, I actually love Precision Nutrition and their vision and their what they put out. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's great.
and I'm just a simple level 1, but you know, I will admit though, it was an extremely easy program to pass in my opinion. You took a 10-question test at the end of each chapter, and it was open book. So like, you had to not be trying to fail it.
Mm-hmm.
Now there were times that I think this is why they did it open book. I reread a couple of the chapters like 3 times trying to find an answer, and I'm like, where is this information at? And I physically was like, all right, I'm going to read it word for word until I find it, because a lot of the questions for the test were almost word for word from what's in the book, and it made me. There's like one time, I think it was like a chapter. I don't remember what it was, but one of the chapters I read like 4 times to find an answer, and finally I was like, I'm just going to take a guess because I could not find it. But I read that chapter so many times.
So did you get the question right?
I don't think so. Probably not.
Dang.
Knowing me, I probably did not. But they do have a chapter on vitamins and supplements, and it talks about like things to look for if they're deficient in it, and then things to look for even if they've been taking too much of the vitamin. And I reference that all the time. Like if someone gives me like they say they're not feeling a certain way, or like they want to talk about supplements. Again, I don't prescribe supplements because I can't. I guess you can prescribe people supplements, can't you? That's a dietitian.
Well, unless they need like an actual prescription.
Right, a script.
Yeah,
but I mean, you
I
can
make
say
recommendations.
you can say I want you to go buy protein powder, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want you to use the specific type
Correct.
of protein powder this many times a day.
Correct.
Where I can only make suggestions. This is what I would do, or this is how I would do it, but you've got to make your own decision.
Right.
But yeah, so I love that chapter, and because I go back to it all the time, and like even if I'm like feeling off, I'm like, I feel like maybe I haven't got enough sun lately, and I go look, I'm like, yeah, vitamin D, that is a symptom, or something
Right.
like that. And then you can go to your doctors and have them draw blood and get an idea of where you're at certain levels, which I think is very
Sure.
wise. I think people should do that yearly, because you'll find out that a lot of people are they don't have enough vitamin D or B. They're anemic, and they didn't even realize it, low in iron, stuff like that. That you don't think about that you need it on a daily basis.
Right. Yes. This is your reminder. Schedule your yearly checkup.
Yes, please do.
Just because we're in a pandemic doesn't mean don't go to the doctor. Because that is something that people should do yearly. I mean, something can get out of whack
Right.
like that. And we may not notice from today to tomorrow. But weeks pass by and we're like, yeah, I haven't been feeling my best self. I'll just wait to go see my doctor next year. Or, I haven't been to the doctor in 5 years. I haven't had labs drawn in 10.
And I know
That might be a good
some
time.
people get scared of the needles, or
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't
Oh,
have
I hate needles.
insurance.
Getting shots, I'm like,
Oh, really?
no.
So I am a little bit deficient in testosterone. I'm 35 years old, so I'm getting a little up there. So I take testosterone, very small dosage. So I have to inject myself twice a week. And then I do, I don't know if you know much about peptides.
Yeah.
So I take peptides. Again, I have to, that's daily, 5 days a week. So I thought I hated needles, but then I started doing
You
that.
got used to it.
I got very used to needles. But every once in a while, I put a needle in a wrong angle, and I can just and I'm just like,
Yeah.
and it hurts.
I have done it to myself once. We were at diabetes camp, and so it was like, you got this badge for, obviously I haven't.
That's a whole nother avenue.
Right,
It
right.
could
I
come
know.
down to diabetes.
So I did it to myself once, right here in the stomach.
That's
I didn't
what I
feel
did.
it. And I think because I was in control, I could see it. It was fine. But if somebody is drawing my blood or giving me a shot, it's like, I'm not in control. I don't like
one
that.
of two things. I do this as they're doing it and just like try not to like I just turn my head.
Yeah.
Or two, I just try to get into a really intense conversation and try to like talk to the nurse and hope that like I will forget that this is happening while I'm talking to the nurse, which it never works.
The best nurses do start that conversation like, "Oh, how you doing today?"
Yeah.
Oh, da 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 da, and you're like,
But
yeah.
the best
and then
nurses
it's over,
put
you're
it in and you
Band-Aids.
don't realize it.
Right.
Like I've had a couple nurses that have, especially when I was in the Navy, that just like I had bruises from them
Ooh.
trying because they're like corpsmen that are training and they're just like, well, you both signed a contract, so you have to let her torture you trying to learn how to like draw blood.
And you're like, great.
But then I've had nurses that literally like I'll do this and then they're like done and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or they
I-
work it into conversation.
how do
1,
I
2,
get you
3,
next
go.
time?
Okay, and then what are you doing later? I'm like, yes, that's the ones I love.
Nurses just need to say like random ass shit, like just off the
To
wall,
make you like
stupid,
turn your
like
head.
like what kind of underwear are you wearing? What is going? What?
Maybe not that weird because then you jump and
Yeah,
then there's
that's
potential
true.
for.
It would need to be just weird enough that it would like startle you and be like, and then the blood's just been taken.
Right. Or it makes you think. You're like, huh, he or she come up with that? And then, yeah, you're done.
Or
So
or you go in for blood and then they stack like 7 of those little things,
that's the
and
worst.
you're
I
like,
can't,
why do I
can't
need this?
watch that.
Why do you need this much blood out of my body?
I can't watch
No
it.
one needs this much blood.
If this isn't encouraging you to go get your lab work done, we apologize.
This is very important for the nutrition aspect, okay?
It
So
is,
we
it
just
is.
really wanted to have a good 5 minutes on drawing blood. Diabetes. I know you work with diabetic people. Is that a large portion of your clientele, or is it small?
Small portion. I definitely have worked. It's mostly type 2 diabetes that I have currently, people with type 2 diabetes.
So are you able to help people get to a point where they don't need insulin anymore? I know exercise, allowing those receptors to open back up so that your body can take the glucose.
Yeah, so not all of the people that I work with, actually none of the ones currently are on insulin with type 2 diabetes. So some people don't have to be on insulin with type 2 diabetes. So
Are they
our goal-
active though?
Some of them.
Okay.
Some of them have been working on getting active, which I highly encourage because it does, you're right, help those blood sugars. But yeah, our goal is to get those blood sugars under control so they don't have to go on insulin and they can get off medications or reduce their medications.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So none of the ones that you're working with right now are taking insulin.
No.
So what are some focuses that you have with people with diabetes? Like I'm guessing you guys, the food's a big one, but like what do you do to help those people out specifically?
Sometimes it starts with like the healthy habits conversation because maybe they're skipping meals or they have high stress levels. Well, those small things are going to affect their blood sugars. So there's a lot of obstacles that we talk about, but the main ones that we talk about are carbohydrate control at meals, so the food and nutrition
Okay.
part. We talk about fiber in there, adequate protein, exercise, which if they're not already working with a trainer, I try and refer them off if they don't.
Hey, you know a guy. I'm
I
just
know a
saying.
guy,
But
yeah.
I'm sure you know a lot of other guys too.
I know a lot of guys and gals. So yeah, that's when I pass them off if they don't feel like they have a good basis of like starting an exercise
Right.
program on their own, stress management, and sleep, because all of those affect.
How many clients do you have that you feel like are really hurt by a lack of recovery time? Because I had a client that was sleeping like 3-4 hours a day and she was just falling apart and she needed surgery, and so we ended up kind of separating for the moment till she got surgery.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a large part of some of her issues were that she was not letting her body recover at
Yeah.
all. Like it wasn't having any time to heal.
Yeah, we live in a world that's like go, 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 and our thoughts don't turn off at night. And so that's a conversation that comes up literally every single client.
I live in
new
a world
client.
that's nap, nap, nap. But you know, whatever. If you guys
For
want to live in the go-go
yeah,
world,
your world's a little different. Trainers out there, you know what that's like. But yeah, I mean, sleep is an issue that comes up time and time again, even with like some of the college students that I work with. I mean, we all know what it's like to be a college student. Inconsistent sleep schedules, that also affects recovery. And then
Yeah.
you have the busy professional or the busy stay-at-home mom or dad, and their sleep is inconsistent and terrible as well.
So do you work on those habits as well with people? Do you try to find like, okay, before you go to bed, I want you to turn off all devices, and I want you to like read a book or like focus on things that like meditation almost, like I want you to get away from all electronic devices before you fall asleep to help, it's things like that. Do you work on those kind of habits as well with people?
We definitely do if it comes up in our conversations that it's an issue. I don't like to bring it up if it's not an issue, because then it's like, wait, is that an issue yet? So yes, if it comes up, we definitely work through those things. Talk about things that are realistic. So if you're not going to meditate before bed, I'm not going to tell you to meditate before bed. Like, I've had someone tell me, like, I'm never going to turn on a meditation tape or whatever, so don't tell me to do that. I'm like, oh,
that's fair.
Okay.
I've had clients do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like,
will you journal? Okay.
I had a client that because I have an app, so a lot of my clients I charge $10 a month to build their program in the app, and they may still see me once or twice a week, but then when they're not seeing me, they'll just follow the app. And I had one client literally was like, yeah, I just want you to tell me what to do. I don't want to think. I don't want to look at anything. Like, if you want to write up a note, like, and send me a copy of that note of like what you want me to work out when you're not around, like, pretty much I don't want to have to think about anything. I just want to pay you money, and I want to like feel better.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's cool. So I literally just held her hand, and that's what she wanted, but that's what she's paying for. And
I think just with as heavy as the world is right now, people have a lot to think about, or depending on where they are in their life, they have a lot to think about. And so if they can push that off to you, the fitness or the nutrition piece,
it maybe gives them time.
It's comfort for them.
That could be their own meditation in a way.
Right, because it's de-stressing and being able to pass that off to somebody else.
Right, and that's what they're paying me for, so I have no problem taking on that. Like the world in general in the last almost 2 years now, I can't imagine what some people are going through and how they're working through it. So so you should go to the gym, though. If you're struggling, the gym's good for you. And then eating healthy. Talk to her about eating healthy. But I think you had a lot of people last year too go two different ways.
Yeah.
Fall apart and just like give up on like everything. Like, I wasn't about to allow not being able to go to a gym get in the way of me. Like, I would have done body weight the whole time. If I didn't have any weights, nothing.
Right.
I would have like done pull-ups, push-ups, and that's what I did for the first like month before I got some equipment. Or you had people like me that I felt like dove deeper into personal training, like fitness, and like trying to push myself harder. But then you're having these people that didn't, and this year they're really struggling to find a way to get their footing back and get back to like where they were in 2019 before they fell apart in 2020.
Yeah, and I think some people with the shift to back to the office or back to school, trying to get back to that routine has been like earth-shattering for some people. It's like, what have we been doing the last X amount of months? And so that becomes a whole challenge in itself, and trying to get out of those bad habits that were established during all that downtime. So for sure, I got a lot of new clients who came to me and was like, this is not my normal, and I don't know how to get out of these bad habits with eating, and
they've like fallen into the ruts.
Right. And they need some support to pull them out of that. So yeah, that was definitely a lot of conversation via telehealth over.
Right. Well,
quarantine.
and once you get these people back on track and they start feeling like what they were feeling before they fell off track, forbid that we close stuff down again. Hopefully they can stay on track and progress forwards. Because for a lot of people last year, they didn't have if they didn't have their personal trainer and they didn't have their gym, and they already know that they don't have the motivation.
Right.
Like, what do you expect to happen?
Right.
So, but people are starting to come out of it. They're starting to get back into it. And I think also, though, I think a lot of people realize how important
for sure
food and exercise really is.
I think this time of year, too, is always interesting. No matter the year it is, fall is a good time to hit that reset button. We're coming off of summer vacations, busy schedule of summer things, getting out of your normal routine. This has always been a time of year for a lot of people to hit that reset button.
Because they're going back to school and they're getting back to
school,
routine.
Back to normal work hours. And, okay, now I can kind of recommit to my fitness or my nutrition or cooking at home more
Do things
again.
fall off during the summer a little bit for you then?
Oh, yeah. historically, fitness and wellness, the aspects
You've been in it for a little bit longer than me in that aspect. So.
Well, even before I worked the gym, even just as a goer and being involved in the gym community, it was always slower.
I will tell you, from Thanksgiving to Christmas, though, I usually don't have any problems hitting my calorie count. Like, there is something going on all the time.
Best. Yep. That kicks off the holiday season, not Halloween. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. So
it is, but it has also been categorically the one time every year that I seem to work out. 50% of the time, I get 1 or 2 days or 3 days in instead of my 6 days somehow. I don't know how it happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I'm always got so much doing. I look back going into January, trying to get back on track, and I'm like, how did I lose a whole month of working out?
Right.
It's not this year though. This
Not
year,
Awareness is key.
I have a gym in my house,
Yeah,
so
no
I
excuses.
have no excuses not to get out here, except that it's gonna be really cold.
I work
have a
out in
nice
my
space
garage
though.
too. You get over it.
Oh, so
Get
now,
over it.
now you're going to be that person. Fine. Well, it was nice knowing you. We're not putting this podcast out, guys. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. Like, it has been a blast, and I'm sure that we will have you on again for what was the other one? Fiber and shit. Right. So if you guys want to hear about fiber and shit, literally fiber and shit for like 2 hours, we'll find a way to come up with all kinds of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I had a super good time. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. This was a blast. And, hopefully we'll have you on again sometime in the future. And do you got any last thoughts, anything you want to say, any promotions? Like, here's your chance. Go for it.
Yeah, find me on Instagram, dietitian_Lauren C. I hang out there. I have a Discord, nutrition channel, Facebook. I'm on it all except for Twitter. So find me there. Connect with me there. I'd love to hear from you. Send me a message if you listen to this podcast.
We'll add some of her stuff in the description too, guys, so you guys can hopefully click over and go check her out.
Cool, yeah. That's all I got.
All right. Well, guys, as always, we'll catch you next time.